So in this lesson, I'll be going over some words that people often find confusing because of their similarities in spelling or pronunciation. And this lesson will help you in the event that you come across a word that you have to replace in the SAT rating section or a word in context question in the reading comprehension section. So here on the slide is a chart that I found online containing some Latin prefixes, and I want you guys to pause the video here and read the items found in this chart and commit them to memory. And knowing these types of prefixes, or these prefixes especially, will help you when you come across a word that you've never seen before, because at least you'll like know the meaning of the prefix, so you'll be able to make a more educated guess as to what that word that you've never seen before could possibly mean. Now I'm going to go over with you guys some of the frequently confused words I've seen amongst the students that I teach. And I want you to commit all of these words to memory because they're commonly found on the SAT reading and the writing sections. And just knowing the difference will help you in your writing as well as your reading comprehension. So the difference between THAN and THEN. So than versus then. So one is used for comparison and one is used to show like steps. So THAN is the one that's used to compare, and then THEN is used to describe a time that is not now. So an example of THEN would be first add the milk and then add the cocoa powder. Next, we have affect versus effect. So which one is used to show like emotion and which one is used to show cause and effect? So AFFECT, effect, means to influence. So that one is saying you're being influenced by some factor. So an example would be all non-essential businesses have been affected by COVID-19. And then effect is the one that we use for cause and effect. So it shows that something is the result of something. Okay, next we have accede and exceed. So accede means to agree or to allow. And then exceed means to go beyond something. So an example would be this restaurant has exceeded my expectations. It has gone beyond my expectations. It's great. Next, we have advice and advise. So advice, it means an opinion that's intended to be helpful. This is like noun form when we say like, oh, I need to get advice from him because he seems super wise, versus advise, which is the verb form of giving advice. Next, we have among and between. So among is used for things that are not distinct. So like for things that are a part of a group, and it's usually more than 3 things in that group. So an example would be, I'm trying to decide among these tennis shoes, right? I'm trying to choose from this group of shoes which one I want to like buy or purchase. Versus between. Between is used for things that are distinct, right? And individual items. So like I'm giving you very specific items in a list to choose from. So an example would be, I'm trying to decide between the navy shoes and the white shoes. So it's very distinct which choices you have, right? You have either the navy shoes or the white shoes. Then you have assure, insure, and insure. So assure means to guarantee. Insure with an E means to make sure. And then INSUR, insure, means to provide insurance for. So, I mean, you know how to spell insurance, so you can just correlate IN with insurance to know that the verb form also means or has some type of relationship with insurance. So you have explicit versus implicit. Explicit means clear and direct, and implicit means implied. So just like how implied is spelled IMPL, implicit is also spelled IMPL. And then you have eminent versus imminent. So eminent means prestigious and imminent means about to happen. And I like to remember this one by thinking of the word immediate. And immediate is also spelled IMM, and it's used to show some type of relationship with time. So that's how I remember it. Imminent, IMMINENT equals time. And then you have peak versus peak. So this is one that a lot of students get confused about because they think the spelling of PIQE is awkward and they don't think that they've ever like seen it used in this way. But we use it like this all the time in English because we say when something piqued my interest, it's spelled PIQE, right? It means to provoke, versus peak, PEAK, which means the highest point. So like, example of PIQE is Sarah said something the other day that piqued my interest versus I hiked to the peak of the mountain on Saturday. Then you have lay versus lie. So lay means to set or put down flat, and lie means to rest. So an example of how we use lie would be I love to lie outside and look at the clouds because I like to rest outside. We use lie versus lay. Illicit versus illicit. So illicit means to draw out, and illicit means illegal. So the prefix ILL is something bad. So knowing the prefix could help you in this case, or knowing that illegal is spelled ILL and then illicit is spelled ILL could also help. And then you have censor versus censure versus censor. So censor, CENSOR, means to prohibit free expression. So this is when we say the song has censored content in it, or the movie has censored content. And then censure, CENSURE, means to harshly criticize. And then censor for SCNSOR is for things like motion censor. And then we have disinterested versus uninterested. So disinterested means unbiased or impartial, and uninterested means I'm not interested in something.